Manifestation. Hate it or love it, there's something intriguing about it. Tea on the secret, manifestation's online reputation, and more. Manifestation has long been in the minds of people, far before but especially since 2006's sandstorm of The Secret. I describe it this way because a sandstorm's beige, cloudy exterior actually looks quite nice from afar, almost desert-like and scenic. But get close or set foot even just a little into this storm, and you'll feel the abrasion of its superficial and controversial claims. The impression that I have of The Secret is this. It's glossy pages that flip at a hefty 120 GSM or more because the thicker a book, the better. Read like an infomercial for positivity with quotes from gurus and thought leaders on every page. The only thing missing is their headshots with folded arms, tilted chins, and wide grins. The whole book from the outside looks like it would be written entirely in papyrus font. Semi-redeemingly, its body text uses a serif font. I could have sworn the cover drew inspiration from Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code 2006 film, which was released in May of the same year, but the release dates make this unlikely. Though really, who knows? To be honest, if it were true, I see the vision even now. Dan Brown had made a solid buck from his tome. Tom Hanks was featured in its film, and who doesn't love him? Naturally, coming up on the rear end of the 2000s spy tech phase, who wasn't into ink pots, wax seals, and quill pens of medieval/Renaissance core? At this point, if you take a look at the cover of The Secret, as well as some of the promotional material for the Da Vinci Code, you can see some similarities. Specifically, on the Da Vinci Code promotion material, you can see the Vitruvian Man. This is basically the drawing that Da Vinci is very famous for, of a man with outstretched arms and legs. And this is something that I swear is featured in The Secret in, like, cutscenes, but memory and the ick factor for the past can do wild things. This sandstorm, largely facilitated by Oprah and her 2 TV specials on The Secret, led to this book selling widely around the world, only for her to release a radio interview distancing herself from the generous promotion she gave it earlier. If you'd like to hear Oprah saying these words, there's a video floating around of it somewhere on YouTube, but to quote her, she says, "Let's go to the criticism immediately. Because I thought when I first watched The Secret, I was excited about it because I thought, wow, this is great. People are going to realize that things aren't just happening out of order, that things are really very much happening in order." Then I think that the criticism has been, well, if things are happening in order, if you're really attracting everything into your life, then when you have cancer, you attracted that. This is a quote from Oprah and her interview with Abraham Hicks on the law of attraction. Amongst the controversy that surrounded The Secret, including some spicy allegations of author Rhonda Byrne swindling and defrauding her co-writer for the direct-to-DVD movie adaptation that made millions, there are many things that lead people to refer to its title reluctantly, with flat-lidded eyes and maybe even an eye roll. If you're wondering, one of the sources that I got for this statement is an article published by The Age on May 18th, 2008 that says, "Angry filmmaker spills the beans on The Secret." The Secret is allegedly the key to unlimited happiness, love, health, and prosperity. It's ironic then that this philosophical phenomenon is at the heart of a bitter court battle over authorship and a $300 million fortune. I think the main draw here of why this is such a tasty sip of tea is the fact that the concept of manifestation in The Secret is very absolute. It is very simplified. There is a very clear condemnation of negativity. That's a big no-no in The Secret, to the point where it's very extreme. And so because the author has written it in that way, for there to be a negative experience in their lives, including this court battle, let alone negative behavior, seems ingenuine. To the average person, the main idea from The Secret comes off as too idealistic and oversimplified. Visualize a thing, believe it's yours, and it will come to you. And rightly so. To hear the general idea, don't lift a finger, don't leave your house, just imagine it's yours and boom, all success to you, and to believe it unquestionably, is to leave planet Earth and pass even Mars. Yet millions of people bought this book and played the DVD in their DVD players, and multiple times if there's anything we remember about owning a home library. In short, this book made manifestation a repugnant concept for many people, and justly so. Go to places like TikTok and Instagram and you'll find little evidence to think otherwise. A few scrolls on TikTok after searching manifestation will have you you meet a wide-eyed somebody scribbling, chanting, or speaking at 1.5 speed about affirmations that you can claim in the comments to change your life. The nonsense of it all makes you feel like it's something of a cult. And this is coming from someone who also tested the waters on TikTok. Back in 2021, when I'd seen the kind of content that was circulating, I thought just for fun, I would put something out there and make, well, for the sake of doing well, a clickbaity kind of video. And despite it being nowhere near how I really see or might really view manifestation, it did extremely well and went viral and got a lot of likes. I think my thinking was that if this video did well and maybe somebody was interested in this kind of gimmicky take, then maybe we could have a more nuanced conversation about how manifestation could be a thing. But over time, it just seemed like that was never likely. But I think what it showed me was that it gave me an understanding of manifestation's presence on another online platform. Head over to Instagram, and accounts after accounts with almost identical feeds will welcome you into their quote energetic container where impossible growth happens and abundance is quote your new vibe. But it will cost you an arm and a kidney. Some may even ask for your newborn. And whilst a 22-year-old me bought into this paradigm and contributions were made, they were done with good intentions, integrity simmering in the back until the level of deception around me caused it to bubble over and tell me to leave. It's very clear that times have changed, as they always do. I see the manifestation surge on Instagram all very similarly to the Fitspo and health foods phase that boomed in 2013/2014 on Instagram and Tumblr. That on the flip side spurred unhealthy body image and problematic eating habits for many people. We now know the harmful effects that material can have despite such posts and videos being widely accepted and popular at the time. I guess the lesson is, what was once acceptable over time may no longer be. The choice to continue acting the same way or change and grow is our own. Eloise Hendy wrote an article for The Independent titled, "Still Broke? Influencers Think You're Just Not Manifesting Money Hard Enough." I feel this article does a good job at exemplifying the elements of manifestation's online presence that are problematic and that lack ethical consideration. So if you want to read it, I definitely recommend. To give you a feel of what the article covers, Eloise writes, "Why is everyone suddenly attempting to summon money by maintaining, quote, positive energy? Why are so many people viewing, quote, the universe like a benevolent benefactor just itching to write them checks? More importantly, is the so-called, quote, abundance expert just a fancy contemporary way of saying, quote, scam artist?" Despite the scam culture, hazy ethics, and misleading claims in its online world, however, manifestation continues to be a hot topic even today. Elle has an article titled, "Everything You Need to Know About Manifestation," including how to do it. Vogue published, "Welcome to the Year of Manifestation Dressing," and in both articles, Hailey Bieber features as the thumbnail image. This is nothing of what you would have seen in 2018, where most podcasts on manifestation were hosted by crusty white men or heavily committed spiritual thinkers. The podcast I ran for 5 years that explored manifestation in a, quote, modern way reached 1 million downloads before I archived its episodes. My thoughts have changed on many topics, and I wanted to minimize confusion for what I now stood for. During the time I hosted it, many podcasts featuring a modern style popped up, and now podcast apps are overrun with current takes on manifestation to varying degrees of delusion and realisticness. Some consider manifestation witchy and of the occult, and with all the crystals, candles, and whispering of affirmations cemented in its image from long ago, it's no surprise people might think it's just about casting spells. In the previously mentioned article by Eloise Hendy, she wrote, according to, quote, manifestation coaches of TikTok, all you need to do is chant, quote, money comes to me easily, money comes to me fast, while blowing cinnamon over the threshold of your front door. Or you could wrap a tenner around a cinnamon stick and carry it around in your wallet. I guess to me what makes something witchy and a little bit spooky is the fact that there are things involved that have nothing to do with, there's nothing really practical about sprinkling cinnamon over your threshold. And you could argue that yes, that's the same with crystals too. Depends what you think about these kind of things. I guess I'm drawing the line here to say that for me at least, when it comes to exploring the idea of manifestation or exploring the ideas of how to navigate life and its challenges, there always needs to be something slightly practical for me to actually encourage myself to do it, let alone others. Continuing from where I left off, which is where I said, it's no surprise people might think it's just about casting spells. I have no defense for this, nor do I necessarily feel the need to have any, other than saying that people have all manner of time and ways to brand things differently. You could get a burger from McDonald's or a burger from a cozy ambient bar. It's your pick of the patty and bun if you wish. If you have watched the movie Practical Magic, there's this scene with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman smiling against what looks like a green screen sunset. And this is almost what I envision, or how I think people might envision me when I tell them that I've written a book about manifestation. And I kind of giggle about it because honestly, I don't blame them. It just makes sense if you've had a certain kind of exposure to manifestation. According to Google Trends, in English-speaking countries like the US, UK, and Australia, searches of manifestation, the word, are rising and continuing to stay relatively high. So what's drawing people to search about it? What is so intriguing about manifestation despite the messiness surrounding it? To me, a 30-year-old teenage girl, it's the possibility of the magic we've read in books for even the slightest bit being real in our everyday lives. To me, it's the fact that some of the quote tools involved in manifestation are sometimes practical and have positive effects even if their magic is only felt in the hope we feel for a desired future being close. Maybe it's having a few guidelines that we can follow to move ahead to what we'd like that someone else tried and found helpful, because that's really all manifestation in a self-help context is. A human idea or construct that people have decided is a thing, and that thing can vary because it's just an interpretation or series of ideas one person or more found helped them bring a desire into reality. I think manifestation is best had when taken not so seriously. I think it's best served with a decent helping of reality and a spoon or 10 of skepticism. I think manifestation is a concept worth exploring, but should only concern you as much as you wish. To me, it's interesting to read how other people interpret the world and challenges within it, and manifestation is just another concept that intrigues those with an interest for the poetry of life itself. Though I haven't found a book from anyone else that views manifestation this way, many seem to want to convince readers of its veracity rather than being realistic and open to other possibilities for cause, and just being overall chill by it. The one I can endorse is my own, The Manifestation Diaries. It's a book written with a love for the English language, poetically and creatively, that brings you on the journey I had exploring manifestation as a skeptical, realistic person. It doesn't wish for the reader to be converted. Heck, the writer isn't one fully, quote, converted even today. You could say it's for those who are averse to the reputation of manifestation in mainstream contexts, and are yet intrigued by its concept still. So what does the future of manifestation look like? Honestly, even if it doesn't stay a topic of interest for the next year, I think it's a topic that will continue to come back around every 10 to 15 years or so. Just like fashion comes back in trends, so do phases and ideas. I think the way in which we think about things certainly evolves. Personally, I like to think nuance becomes more and more present. I think that as long as magic stays a topic of interest, manifestation will too. To clarify, magic as in Santa Claus type of magic, Easter Bunny type of magic, moon magic, life magic, none of this really makes sense, but I think that's what makes magic magic.